Okay, let's go. Let's get this show on the road. On what is it? It's Friday. Yeah, it's hot. It's muggy. The stink bugs are out. And so I have, if I seem a little bit distracted today, my brother from another mother, his dad, it was texting with him last night. His dad's like 94, and his dad is going into hospice, and brother Gene's really having a hard time. He took care of his mom when she passed of cancer a few years back, a couple years ago, and now he's wrapping things up with his dad. It looks like we're going to be, um, it's going to be in a few days or so, he feels. And so a little bit distracted today. The point being, though, however, we'll see how the weekend goes. I still do plan on starting the new show on Tuesday. But I don't know. There's a possibility that exists. I don't know. Brother Gene going to want if he's going to want me to travel to the funeral, or if he'd rather just wrap it up there and come visit up here. So we'll just see how all that goes. So stay tuned. If you see a community post pop up, just check it out, because I'll communicate that way as opposed to making separate videos about things. But right now, even I don't think we would have a funeral on Tuesday. Today is what, Friday? So decent chance we'll still start things, but I could be traveling, so I don't know. But just to let everybody know what's going on. So if I seem a little bit distracted, or if I look at my phone every once in a while, that's what's going on. So let's blow the chat up. How are we doing? Simon, good to see you. David. Yeah, Simon, a lot of PTOs. Definitely. Camp bodies. That's what I call them. That's what they call them in football. It's not my term. That's what they call them in football. Hey, Hungry, how we doing, bud? Yeah, Hungry. Anything interesting there? Hungry's in the more for any particular reason why you're pumped start the season? You don't feel tardy, David? Frost says, I think Demko for the Cats can be a good option once Bob retires if it goes bad in Vancouver. If you listen to what Paul Maurice had to say yesterday, I think he's high on Tarasov. I'm not saying that they definitely feel like he's the next Bob, but I guess they feel like his style of play will do well with our style of defense, is what Maurice was alluding to. Hungry, yeah, it's rough. I mean, brother Gene was 2 houses away. I saw his dad sometimes more than I saw my dad, because his dad worked nights. So while my dad was at work, if we go over to brother Gene's house, Ernie'd always be there. He's a great guy. He loved to hear our stories, man. He loved to hear all of our escapades. We were never in trouble for anything we did. Like, we'd party and do everything on the weekend, and then during the week, we're like, so what'd you guys do over the weekend? Anything good? Come on. He loved the stories, man. Hey, Icy, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, Tua, man. Oh, boy. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, Cuban. Brother Gene's father's name is Ernie. Ernie, good dude. He worked as a dispatcher for an ambulance company in South Miami. That's where he retired. As far as I know, he could have worked there 30, 40 years, and he worked the overnight shift. And so when Gene and I would play football, we go to his house and make some food or whatever. Ernie'd always be there getting ready for work. And hey, Blood. He used to call me Blood. Hey, Blood, what's up? And when I came down there during Christmas, last year, I hadn't seen him in like 10, 15 years. And he was still sharp as a tack. First thing he asked me is, hey, you still doing the eBay and the massage thing? and I hadn't seen him in forever. So it's unfortunate, but his wife passed away about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and he hung around for a while. Got to watch. He watched Panthers win the cup with Brother Gene, and looks like he's getting ready to check out. Oh, excellent, Hungry. Beautiful. Perfect. Good stuff. Good stuff. Craig says, look what the goalie coaches have done for the backups over the last few years. Tarasov will be good. Yeah. I mean, he's still young. So just give me my Bobrovsky extension. That's really what I'm looking for. Give me my Bobrovsky and Mikkola extension. I think E2 has one more year on his deal, I think. Simon says, in my opinion, how do you think about the media for the Panthers? So I want to thank you for that question, Simon, because I want to correct something I said yesterday. When Zito said that the Panthers veterans wouldn't be on the ice until next week, I assumed that meant like that hard first 3 or 4 days where Maurice kills them. I thought that meant that they were getting to skip that part, and then they would just pick up training camp next week. And apparently that's not what they're doing. They're just giving the guys an extra week to train on their own. And then next week, after the Nashville games, will be that heavy duty 2, 3, 4 days, whatever it was. Maurice called it 4 days. I thought it was like 2 bad days, but whatever it is, they're still going to have to go through that, but that'll be next week. They kind of truncated and shortened the camp a little bit. So it's good to see that they're making adjustments and not just being stubborn about things and being like, this is how we do it no matter what. It's good to see that they're making adjustments to give these guys as much possible rest, recovery, and, just letting the guys listen to their bodies. Cody says, so I feel it's valid to be frustrated with the recent success that we still don't have a third alternate jersey. So my consistent opinion, Cody, has been that one of the reasons why we haven't seen a third jersey is because we keep winning. And so we won, we went to the Stanley Cup, and then we won, and then we won. And my assumption is they're not going to release a third jersey until we haven't won the previous season, because otherwise it would cut into the sales of the Stanley Cup merchandise. You see what I'm saying? So that's just been my assumption, my guess. I haven't heard anything like that, but to me it just makes sense because not everybody can afford, right, to buy a bunch of stuff. And so if you put out a third jersey when there's also all the Stanley Cup merchandise, now you're making fans choose between the two. So I would think 5-6 years from now, when we finally don't win the cup, I think that's when we'll get the third jersey. Hey, Ollie. Plus, yeah, and Jameson's right. We'll get the Winter Classic jersey this season too. Yeah. I told Kyle just to not worry about the fact that the Forsling reverse retro didn't show up, and just to give me a Winter Classic jersey, and all will be forgiven. I won't hold my breath, though. Real says, sorry, I have to vent football. When I die, I want Tua to be my pallbearer so he can let me down one last time. My dumbass bought into that game. I had hope. Stupid. I started thinking, hey, maybe we could win a game. I wasn't thinking we were going to the playoffs or anything, but Buffalo wasn't playing great. I thought, hey, maybe we can do something. And who was it? Somebody in the beginning. Oh, no, it was my brother. It was Brother Gene, because I was texting with him during the game. And when we had a 7-0 lead, I asked him, so how do we blow this game? And I kid you not, he responded to me, a late Tua interception. Hey, Adonis, college been kicking your ass lately? That's true. Vincent says, stubborn as Jaws. Jaws whining machine. Smart is about Panthers winning machine. Interesting. That's cool, Vincent. That's cool. I hope I'm alive when you're my age, so I can listen to you bitch about your aches and pains and what life brings you. Local says the roughing the kicker was a brutal penalty to take. What McDaniel said about that, and I know we're supposed to talk about hockey, but what McDaniel said about that penalty was that the intent of that play is not to block the punt. The intent of the play is to just rush the punter. So it is what it is. I appreciate that, Cody. Trey says, you heard Jaws is getting Kimmel's. Oh, man. No comment. No comment. No comment. No comment. David says he'd fumble you before the grave, right? Trey says, I can't decide which was funnier between the roughing the kicker or the pick. I think the punt, the roughing the kicker, because for me personally, because if you were watching the stream, I saw them lined up, and I'm like, don't do anything stupid with a kicker. Don't do anything stupid, because you could tell we were fixing to do something stupid. And as soon as I just like, yep, he hit him. You knew as soon as it happened. Donis, I appreciate that. I tell you what, at least I would write my own material. I don't know how much of the material those guys write that's their own, but I don't watch their stuff. I see clips and all of that every once in a while, but I never was a fan of Kimmel. I thought Colbert used to be funny, but I was never a fan of Kimmel. All right. That's weird. What the hell happened to this? Hold on a second. My chat just went away here. Dana says, yeah, Bob is 150 for one signed item. Boy. Craig, you expected him to run a fake punt, right? Yeah, real. It's a shame. We're stuck with those guys the rest of the year. David says, I grew up with Carson, then Letterman, so in comparison, the new guys think, yeah, is what it is, right? Didn't they have somebody in between, though? Isn't there one other guy that used to do one of those shows that was halfway decent? Carson and Letterman of the old guard, but wasn't there somebody in between? I can't remember. I never really watched a lot of that stuff. Don says, I wonder if Bob would be kind of shy. That's how people describe him. Yeah, I mean, you figure he grew up with a completely different culture, right? Conan, yeah, I think Trey, I think that's who I'm thinking about. Yeah, he's kind of forgettable. No, I'm thinking Leno. Right, I'm thinking Jay Leno. That's who I'm thinking, right? Didn't he do one of those shows? That's probably while I was raising kids. Greg Ferguson was pretty good too, yeah. I never used to stay. I couldn't stay up that late because I had too many kids. Cliff says, who even watches the late night shows and cable anymore? Oh, no, Ferguson was good, right? David says, Leno lit himself on fire a couple years ago and almost died. Jeez. That's crazy. Yeah, the ratings. Cliff, it's there's so many choices, right? There's so many choices for stuff, stuff for people to watch. Mrs. Jaws has human decency and a sense of humor, but I'm too adequate for modern TV. That's okay. We'll just become famous here, right? We'll become the longest running YouTube channel that never. How? What do you think the ceiling for this channel is? Like this would be 10 seasons, right? So like when I start in year 20, how many subscribers do you think the banner will be trying to get? Genuine question. Cliff says, I have Netflix, Prime, DTV, YouTube for Sunday ticket. Yeah, every other streaming service, you need it to see all the games, right? You need it to see all the games. We've got YouTube TV, Prime, ESPN Plus, because we need ESPN Plus. Real says, I'm going to become the longest running hockey YouTuber with a dog mascot. David, I appreciate that. Yeah, maybe one day, right? Maybe one day something will happen. I just keep doing it, assuming that one day a break will happen. You know, I always get not depressed, but I always get a good giggle when I compare myself to Tom Grossi, because he's only been doing stuff for 1 year more than me. And so I look at the difference, you know what I mean, in between the two arcs of success. And not that it makes me depressed, but it just shows sometimes your number comes up, sometimes your number doesn't come up. You know. Craig says after the fifth cup, 40,000 subs. Yeah, we could get there. Cliff says, Fluffy, I think the ceiling is unlimited. If we go for a three-peat, the channel is going to get 50 to 100K. From your lips to whatever. What's the saying? From your lips to God's ears? Is that the saying? I see. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, because it's smaller. I understand that. Need to start the what if the NHL was scripted videos. I just don't know. Vincent. I thought about trying the skits again this year. They just did so poorly. The thing with the skits is like each subsequent skit did worse and worse. And I kind of felt like that was a message. You know what I mean? It wasn't like the first one got 500 and then it was slowly getting better. It was like the first one was like at 7 or 8 and then half and then less and then less. I kind of got the idea that maybe nobody interested. Yeah, that's true, Cliff. There's a lot more Cats fans these days than there was several years ago. That's for sure. The roof is leaking and we're all cold. The roof doesn't leak anymore. The cricket is back, by the way. If anybody watched the football recap last night, the cricket is back in the recap room. He was loud. We'll just put it that way. There's nothing I can do about it. It's the basement. Half the ceiling is exposed because we have to have access to the pipes because the house is so old. David says, no more free Cats tickets with your $25 or more Miami subs order. Yeah, there was other thing. I think I remember like bringing canned goods. I didn't, but I mean, I think I remember watching like 2011, 2012, somewhere in there, where it was like bring 5 canned goods and you get into the building or something. Craig says maybe do AI content. I don't know. I mean, I made the show 3 hours, so that's definitely part of what we're trying to do here. I kind of feel like longer shows will get more exposure. Cliff says short form game previews and recaps is probably a good idea. I love the live reaction, but I think the attention span of the average viewer is not long enough to really watch the long form content. Yeah, which is hard because YouTube just keeps changing what they're pushing. For a while, they were pushing the little 3-minute videos, and now they're pushing longer videos. And every YouTuber I speak to goes through the same frustration of YouTube constantly changing what the preference is and then constantly having to adjust to it. Real says the cricket symbolized what's going on in Greer's brain. And Simon, yeah, that's actually the hope. My hope is that the 3-hour show, I'm hoping that we can work on getting some sponsors for that show. That was part of my thought process with deciding to do that. And then plus having it be where you guys can come on and be part of the show. I think that'll bring in, I think that should bring in some more people. Vincent, how much did I pay for my 9,000 subs? No, it's not that I paid for the 9,000 subs. It's that when YouTube was, when shorts first came out and YouTube was really, really pushing them hard, I had the one fluffy short that got like, I don't know, 100,000 views. It might have got more than that. And I gained like 1,500 subscribers from that short. And they were all dog people. And so at the same time as the dog people slowly unsubscribed because they realized there was a hockey channel, I would gain a couple hockey subscribers. So I was stagnant for about 6 months because I would gain 5 or 10 hockey subscribers, but lose 5 or 10 dog subscribers. It was agonizing. Cliff, yeah, cut up the long form stuff into shorter. That's what I did yesterday. I talked about the Brad Marchand taxes thing, and for whatever reason, and I think I know the reason why. When I have taken my live streams and cut them up into clips, they haven't really done all that well. And if I look at my analytics, the reason is because there's a high percentage of my subscribers that are watching the live streams. That's great. The problem is that if I then take a clip from that live stream that you all already watched and I put it out as a separate video, when YouTube pushes it to the subscribers, nobody's going to watch it again. And so YouTube thinks, oh, nobody wants to see this video. And so they don't send it out to a whole new audience. That consistently happens. I don't have enough of a subscriber base for that not to happen yet. Anyway, I just keep putting out content. It'll work. Yeah, and that's true, Clip. The algorithm's always changing. Icy says, how's Donna's doing? Donna's doing good. She got a job locally, so she's only 10 minutes from the house. And she likes what she's doing. And we go on Monday, we're going over to her old place and emptying it out so that she'll be completely done and moved in here. Yeah, the shorts do help, Cliff. That's for sure. No doubt about that. And that's one of the reasons why I upgraded the camera and the internet, so I can take clips from the live streams and the camera quality will be okay. Because there was a lot of times last year where maybe I might have taken a clip, but the picture was so bad, I didn't want to put clips out there because the picture was so bad. I figured people wouldn't want to watch or wouldn't want to give the channel a chance because it looks so terrible. Dave says that was a disheartening loss as Miami has suffered in a long time. That was brutal, man. That was brutal. I just started screaming, "Oh no!" Trey says, when we come on, can you sell stuff? Trey's going to try and sell his car. Trey says, yeah, I'm interested to see how YouTube treats the Thai Domi channel. Half of it's going to be hockey, half of it's going to be Thai tourism. Yeah. Now I'm curious to see that too. Because that's two very separate fan bases. Vincent. Do a facelift for the channel. Well, I'm trying to work on a new logo for the 10th. I haven't been able to get a hold of the girl that did the original one. We haven't been able to get a hold of her. So I might have to get somebody that can use AI, because what I want to do is I want to get Fluffy sitting on a couch with 2 cups with his arms like that or his paws like that. But it's a work in progress. Cliff, yeah, we do so much live, which is great. But if everybody's already seen it, then we'll get there. Exactly. That's it, Cliff. Just keep putting content out there and engaging. And yep, I agree. The Dolphin game was brutal. It was, I mean, halftime is tied and you're thinking, well, you knew. Like on one hand, you're thinking hope, but on the other hand, did anybody really think Josh Allen was letting the Dolphins come in there? Like, even if Tua doesn't throw an interception and we get a touchdown on that drive, we're going to give Buffalo the ball back with $1.50 left, even if there's no timeouts. Do we really think they're not getting a field goal and winning the game? Oh, hey, Pacharo, Waller's actually going to play, huh? Vincent, shorts are a disgrace. Don't ever wear them on the stream again. Lucky for you, Vincent, I can't stream in 4K. I can only stream in high def because I don't pay. I would have to pay an extra $50 a month, I think, to StreamYard to be able to stream in 4K. So I just stream in high def. Cliff, that's because we've been losing to the Bills like that since the mid-'80s. Yeah, exactly, Cliff. Doing the hardest part. It'll at some point, right? At some point, the scales will tip. Maybe it'll be this year. David, according to McDaniel, he says they didn't have a block called. According to McDaniel, he says that the purpose of what Sealer was trying to do was just push the center back so the punter would rush the punt. That's what he said. Yeah, I wish we had a quarterback like John. I wish we had a quarterback like Daniel Jones at this point. Exactly, real. 7-Eleven is like Publix in Thailand. That's interesting. So Remnant says, who do we think will be the highest Panthers goal this year? You mean outside of Mackie Samoskevich? Let's see. I mean, an easy pick would be Reinhardt. I'm thinking maybe Verhaeghe has a, quote, comeback season. Right? Maybe he'll have a comeback season. I would still stick between Reinhardt and Verhaeghe because Barkov isn't going to suddenly start cheating for offense. Kachuk is out. Bennett, not that kind of player. I know in the playoffs he is, but I would think Reinhardt or Verhaeghe. I think it's pretty set. Yeah, and Swaggy's game is built for the playoffs, yeah. Trey says the weird part is they have a lot of stuff that 7-Elevens that here that they don't, but at the same time, they don't have Slurpees. Oh, man. No Slurpees. Probably are the artificial colors illegal there? Good point. Real says Erod's going to get the most, have to show off for other teams when we trade him. Yeah. I'm just thinking down the lineup now. I wonder if with Marchand, I wonder what Luosterainen's goal total is going to be. Not that I think that he'd be Remnant's saying the same thing. Imagine third line produces. Yeah. I'm just wondering how many goals Luosterainen can get, because Marchand brought an entirely different side of him out. And the other thing I'm realizing is that we still will not have had Marchand and Tkachuk on the ice in the regular season yet at the same time, because Chucky was out when we got Marchand, and now Chucky's still out. So whatever dynamic that produces, because it does change things a little bit, we still will not have had that until whenever Chucky does come back this regular season. But I really like to see what Luosterainen's going to do. And then, of course, like Bennett said, I'm excited to see what Mackey's going to do. I mean, Bennett said it. I hope I'm playing with him at the start of the season. I mean, I've not heard anybody on this team talk about any of the other players in that manner, like, I hope I'm playing with this guy. It's usually like, it doesn't matter who we're playing with, right? But Bennett has been really specific about wanting to play with him. I think it takes some of the pressure off of Bennett, because Mackey's so fast that with Bennett and Mackey on the same line, team's going to have a hard time keeping up. Real says, I just hope we get to see the Tkachuk brothers in the Olympics for more than one game. Yeah, please, right? Hey, Patel, finally we get to talk about a winning and functional franchise. I know, man. I seen somebody else comment on another video that the Panthers were saving the entire sports scene in South Florida. It's kind of true if you don't count University of Miami. Brennan says, hopefully Marchand will bring the enthusiasm to the locker room at the start of the season in place of Tkachuk. I think it'll be a group effort. It's going to be hard losing Rodriguez like that, though, because he's not the same type of guy, but he just does bring energy wherever you put him. He's always flying all over the place. So whatever improvement Sam Miskevich needed to make, it needs to have been made. Trey says, if you check out Thai content, it's the same cycle of 7-Eleven street food and street women. So hopefully hockey makes it stand out from the rest. I'm sure the algorithm's going to have a fun time figuring that one out, Trey. So as fast as I say Mackey, I need to get over 20 goals. I'm thinking, I'll be honest with you, I'm hoping for 25 from Mackey. Last year I wanted 15, and I think that's what we got, was 15. 25 might be a bit much, but he can score some goals on that line. It'll be a little bit different once Tkachuk comes back, for sure. You stop that, Trey. You stop that. Why? Because we're going to get Malkin? Because we're going to get Malkin? No way, man. Sam Bennett would riot if they traded Mackey. I think Mackey's part of the reason why Bennett wanted to stay, because he's going to have that kid on his wing. And within a couple of years, if Bennett loses a little bit of a step, you still have Sam Miskevich out there, who's, from what they were saying, he looks faster this year. And I think he said bigger too. David, yeah, he gave Mackey some serious props. Hey, Bucks Rays. Yeah, Rodriguez is a Swiss Army knife. It's going to be tough losing him. I mean, if that's the way we have to go, and just no questions about that when they had Zito. They just did not ask any questions about it. Fossey says, I think our third line is most teams' second or first line. Certainly second. Sure. Absolutely. I know some might think Luosterainen doesn't have that offensive capability. I think he's still – I think he did get 17 goals in the President's Trophy season. Let me see. Itu. I guess it's Etu. I always say Itu, but I guess it's Etu. Let's see. Yeah, and the President's Trophy. No, wait a minute. When no, actually, the first year we won the cup. No, the first year we went to the cup. Excuse me. I get them confused. How crazy is that? I get confused between the President's Trophy, the first one at the Cup, the second one, the third one. It just all runs together. Can you believe how that sounds? And it's true. Yeah, so the year that we lost to Vegas, he had 17 goals. And then the next year he had 12. And then last year he had 9. So it's interesting how it had kind of gotten a little bit less each year. So I think that talent is there. And if Marchand, what did he get in the playoffs? So he had 5 goals in the 23 games with Marchand. He had 19 points in 23 games with Marchand. And that tells you something. Now I don't expect him. That would be 20 goal pace, just about, right? That could happen. Sfosh says, can I see a line of Samo, Marchand, and Itu? I don't think so because, well, I guess Itu would center that line. Thinking. I suppose that's possible if somebody got hurt. Because usually if Bennett or Barkov gets hurt, you're moving up one down, right? That's an interesting combination. Trey says everyone likes Mackey except me and Pomo, right? Hey, Bucks. Yeah, it's going to be difficult to three-peat for sure. Vincent says Crosby has 2 years left in Pittsburgh. We don't have a 4C after this season. We're not trading Samoskevich for Crosby. It's just not going to happen. We don't have any first-round picks left. And besides, Vincent, we do have a 4C. Bennett's going to be 4C when we get McDavid in free agency. What are you talking about? David says, we're still better than everyone on the closest team to us from the least lost the 100-point-a-year guy. Yeah. It's so weird to just go into a season just like, I'm still not used to it. As a Panther fan, I'm still not used to going into the season with the only question is, can we win the cup again? Like, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Yeah, Itu centered the fourth line in the President's Trophy season. Yeah. David says, I'm still saying Cats win 5 in a row, lose 1, and then win 1 more. Holy crap. If that happens, the channel will get to 100K. That's for sure. Fossey, I see Cunningham being a Cousins type player for us, but a little bit better. Well, I think now he's gonna get the 4C job because with Nosek out, I'm going to assume that that's when they found out about Nosek being hurt when we just randomly plucked Cunningham off of the free agency there. Bucks Rays. Oh yeah, we looked. The schedule is not as difficult as last year, for sure. For sure. Who was Seth? Seth was with Mikola. What's my predictions for the Panthers schedule this year? Well, I haven't made that decision yet, Simon. I believe by the end of next week, I'm going to have my NHL season preview up. I just got to get up to stones to predict that we're going to three-peat again, and then I'll make the video, right? I can't believe that the one, what was it, Puck Empire had the Avalanche at 17. Trey says nothing is given. We're a Barkov injury away from a second-round exit. Maybe. Depends on who we're playing in the second round. Depends on who we're playing in the second round. Right? I don't know. Vincent says we don't need McDavid. I don't even think we want McDavid. I agree with you. I agree. Yeah. But boy, it would be fun to see the reaction of the rest of the league. Like, of course you'd want them, but I don't know I don't know. And that's the honest truth. Where would you put them? Right? Like, where are you going to put them? Which center? I mean, what are you going to do? Move Lundell to 4C? Right? You know what I mean? Like, that's not his game anyway. What are you going to do? I guess you could have a fourth line of, with Bennett at 4C and just play all four lines normal amount of minutes. But I don't think it's going to happen. Fossey says I see 96 to 103 points. Sounds about right. Yeah. Remnant says, I hope you see a wild year. Everything is lining up like the dang stars and moons. Well, that's the thing, right? You just never know what's going to happen. Crazy things happen every year. We've got this whole thing with the possibility of having to move Rodriguez looming over our head, but you just never know. You know what I mean? It makes sense right now that that's the move, but you just never know. You just don't know what Zito's going to do, what Zito's going to be offered. Remnant says the boys have been hyping Mackey up in preseason interviews. I could see him taking a bigger role. Well, he has to, right? He has to. With Tkachuk out, the general assumption is Bennett with Rodriguez and Samoskevich. And then when Tkachuk comes back, you're going to move Rodriguez, and then you're going into the playoffs with Bennett, Tkachuk, and Samoskevich. Trey, you shut up. Somebody ban Trey. Do I have a mod in here? Somebody ban Trey. He's not going anywhere, right? Not even close. But boy, when they asked Bennett what his ceiling was, he didn't have a good answer. Like, you could see Bennett's wheels turning, like, kid could be better than he was 12th overall pick, right? I mean, it's not like we're talking about some third-round pick that just, developed a little bit. I mean, you take a guy at 12, I believe it was 12. Let me see. Bucks Rays wants me to look at the Tampa schedule. Sure thing. Let's do that. I did not see Tampa's schedule. You think you might get 80 points this year? Let's see. It can't be that bad, right? Let's see. Tampa Bay Lightning. I don't need to. Come on. Give me the whole thing. Give me the schedule. They're giving me salary cap, history, roster, lines, stats, depth chart, jersey. Give me the schedule. There it is, all the way at the bottom. Come on. Okay, let's look at the schedule here. Here, I'll share it. What the hell? Let me share it. Yeah, Lundy was 12. Maybe, it was Lundell that was 12. That's right. So let's see. The Lightning schedule. Where do we start? Okay. So they're starting at home. Senators, Devils, on the road, Bruins, Caps, Wings, not so bad, back-to-back Wings and Jackets. Home again, Lightning, Ducks, Knights this is Ducks and Knights back-to-back again. That's 2 back-to-backs. That's nice. Then they're on the road, Nashville, and then they're back home. Oh, for freaking hell. Don't you hate that? Isn't that so stupid? Look at it. It's a back-to-back at home. Then you go on the road for a game, and then you're back at home again, and now you're back out on the road. For freaking hell. That's stupid. So, this is the first time I've seen Mammoth. I usually just see Utah, but now I'm seeing him in Mammoth. That's cool. All right, so you go out on the road. You got Utah, Avalanche, and the Knights. No back-to-backs. That's not so bad. You're back home again. You got the Capitals, and then you got a nice break there, 3 days off. Rangers, Panthers, and then the Canucks back-to-back. Good luck. You're on the road, but it's not like it's a long trip. So that's not pleasant. Then you're still at home. Devils, Oilers, back out on the road. Boy, you're in and out. Capitals. Then you're back home again. What are they doing to you guys? So home. Wait, no. Yeah. Home. One road game, and then back at home again. So then you've got Flyers, Flames, then back out on the road. Jeez. Red Wings, Rangers, that's back-to-back. Islanders still on the road. Then you get back home. Penguins, Islanders, Leafs, Canadian. Oh, boy. Leafs, Canadians back-to-back on the road. Have fun with that. Enjoy yourself. Then you're still on the road for the Devils. You're still on the road for the Islanders. Boy, that's a trip. And then as soon as you get home, you get the Panthers. Sucks to be you playing us after a long road trip. Then let's see. You're still at home against the Kings, Canes, Blues, and then you get Christmas break, and you got the Panthers again, so you get to play us rested, but we'll be at home. And then you're back-to-back Panthers again, and then the Canadians. Good luck with that. Good, enjoy that. But it comes off of the Christmas break, so that's not too bad. So now you're back out. Oh, you go out on the road right after. So you got the Ducks, Kings, Sharks. It's only a 3-game trip. That's not too bad out west. Then you're back home against the Avalanche. And then you go back out on the road again. They keep doing this to you guys where you got one home game and you're back. What a bunch of dummies. And then I see this is a long trip. So you've got Flyers, Penguins back-to-back, Blues, Stars. Then you're back home again for one game. And then you're back out on the road again. Yeah, I would be out of my mind. So then you're back on the road again for Blackhawks Jackets, which is back to back. That's stupid. This is a stupid schedule. All right, so then you come back home. You got back to back here. Then you come back home against the Mammoth, Jets, Bruins, Sabres. So that's a nice little homestand there. And then you still have the Panthers. You're still at home. Boy, that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that's a nice little run. That's almost the whole month of February. That is the almost the whole full month of February, with the exception of you have the Canes on the 28th. And then you're back home again. What are they doing to you guys? How many times are they going to make you guys go on the road for one game and then come back home and then go back right out on the road again? So you're on the road. You got the Wild, Jets, Leafs, Sabres. Any back-to-backs? Yeah, back-to-back here. Leafs and Sabres. So Sabres not so bad. Then you got your home Jackets, Wings, Canes, no back-to-backs. Now you're going out. You're going out again. It's not too bad though, right? Kraken, Canucks, Oilers, Flames. Oilers, Flames back-to-back. Enjoy that. Those are always fun. And you're back home against the Wild, Kraken, Senators. No back-to-backs. Yeah, you got a back-to-back here. I don't know why this is empty. So you got a back-to-back against the Senators and Preds. That's not the end of the world. And you're still home. This is another long stand here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the Canadiens. 6 is the Penguins. 7 against the Bruins. And that's long home stands. Nothing wrong there. And then we get to the end of the season, and you're on the road against the Sabres, Senators, Canadiens, and Bruins. Back-to-back against the Sabres and Senators. So, okay. And then you finish up at home against the Wings and the Rangers, not back-to-back. So, I'm curious, Bucks, Rays. Yeah, how many what was that? That was like 3 or 4 times? Like 3 or 4 times that you're out on the road, come home for a game, and then you got to go right back out on the road. That is just stupid. Real says, told you, NHL scripted, trying to tire out the Lightning, make it easier for us to take the division. That's a crazy schedule. Remnant, yeah, I want the young guys on the Habs. They're going to be a pain in everybody's nuts, I think. And David says the Lightning window closed when they traded Stamkos. What if they get McDavid? I mean, on one hand, I don't disagree with you, but on the other hand, they still got Vasilevsky. Like, they should be able to retool before he's too old, don't you think? And David thinks the Leafs are missing the playoffs this year. Huh? Yeah, the Bucks window is still open. Yeah. Do I see the Sens missing the playoffs? Strafasi, that's been my gut take, and I probably will stick with that in my season preview. I know that there's a lot of people probably disagree with that. I understand. I kind of have I don't want to say I have a thing for the Canadians, but I kind of feel like Montreal is going to be better than people think they are sooner than they are. And I'm not an Ullmark fan. I'm not an Ullmark fan. And so I just don't know if Ottawa – I just don't know. David says the window reopens with McGee. Yeah, exactly. Simon, the only prediction I have for the rest of training camp for the Panthers is that everybody just stay healthy. No more injuries. That's enough. That's enough now. Yeah, Cooch needs to stay healthy too. Yeah, David says Tampa lost the fire when Stamkos left, but McCofer might revive it. Sure. Now, Damian says, I got Kaprizov going to Tampa, and I got McDavid going to the Kings or Rangers. I just don't know the Rangers, though. Like, I know they got Shesterkin, but I still feel like New York would still have some work to do to be a contender unless Florida falls off, right? I mean, at some point, we're not going to win the cup. At some point, it will happen. Might not be this year, but they got Shesterkin, so I could see the attraction there. Tampa doesn't have any more first round picks either. David says, if you're into being a superstar, New York is the place to do it. And that's true. That part is true. Yeah. I mean, I have mixed feelings about the Olympics because I don't mind. We're gonna enjoy streaming the games and all of that. Although I guess it's gonna be like 3:00 in the morning. I don't know how much I'm going to enjoy that. Hopefully, I win Powerball before that happens. But absent winning Powerball, we'll be streaming the Olympics games at 3 in the morning or whatever it's going to be. Again, as long as our guys stay healthy, I'm kind of glad Russia's not in, so Bob's not going anywhere. But I'm not happy Russia's not in because it would have been fun. But I'm happy Russia's not in because Bob's not going. Yeah, I'm happy that Bob is not going to be going and playing high pressure games in the middle of what? February is when it is. I'm not sure if the Sens made a ton of moves to improve. We'd have to look at that. Damian says, I got Kaprizov going to Carolina as the best case scenario. Yeah, send him to where offense goes to die. Exactly. You know what I mean? Just send him there. But we'll see. I mean, the money that he wants is exceptional. I mean, if you look at his, I know stats aren't everything, but I mean, you look at his goals, because he's not a huge assist guy, right? 27, 47, 40, 46. Last year, obviously, he only had 41 games and had 25 goals. So you're talking about a guy that's going to get you 40. On the right team, he's going to get you 50 goals. You know what I mean? So I get why he wants to get paid the way he does. But what was the number that he turned down? What was the number that he turned down? He turned down an 8-year, $128 million contract. What would have made him the highest paid player in the NHL. So what is that? That is 10, what is that? 14, 15, how much is that? 8, let's see, 8, 140. That's like 16, right? That's crazy that's what he turned down. If that's the truth. That's just Like it sounds like he wants McDavid money, or he just doesn't want to stay in Minnesota. So, you do start to get to a point where these guys, if they're going to start wanting, 16, 20 million, like, you still will get to a point where you can't build a team around a guy at a certain level in the cap, especially when you got teams like Florida, which, are able to pay guys, so much less, right? I mean, when you look at what Barkov gets and what Reinhart gets, it's very possible that McDavid could end up making more than those two combined. It's not, who would you rather have, McDavid or Barkov and Reinhart? You know what I mean? Trey says it would be funny if McDavid signs for 14 and then Kaprizov would be screwed. Yeah. I mean, that to me sounds like he just doesn't want to stay. Yeah, I went to the gym one day this week, Simon. I've been kind of just working out at home because I've been doing a lot of work. That yard sale was a lot of physical work. So all right, everybody, I got to roll because I gotta get on the phone with my brother Gene. For those of you who missed the beginning of the stream, my brother Gene, his dad, is getting into hospice today. And so while my intent right now is to start the new show on Tuesday from 10 to 1, keep an eye on the community posts over the weekend because the possibility does exist that I may have to travel for a funeral at some point next week. Don't know. Everything is up in the air. So just if you see a community post, just check it out because that could be me letting you know I might be gone for a couple of days and all of that. And I'll just keep everybody posted that way. And hopefully whatever is going to happen for him just happens quick. Because from what brother's telling me, his dad's ready. But your body starts shutting down and it's never pleasant. It's never pretty. So, all right. Yeah, David, I appreciate that, bud. Yeah. All right, everybody. Appreciate all the support. Today's Friday. Kyle will still be live 3:00 on the football channel. And then I'll make a post and let you guys know what the content's going to be for this weekend because we're still trying to sort through that. Because I know I got the 2 Panther games on Sunday. So that I know for sure we're doing. It might be one. I might do the early game and have Kyle do the late game. So we'll see because it'll be in here just streaming the game so you guys can watch it at the same time. So I might do the afternoon game and have Kyle do the night game. So that could happen, but I'll let you all know. All right, enjoy the rest of your Friday. And for those of you who see Kyle at 3, take it easy on the poor kid. He still has hope. Not so much anymore.